is always very important to establish your foundation. So people started laughing. It was one of those like embarrassing moments. And
Hola familia de pecho.
So I don't think I've ever shared this little story, but when I was back in Mexico, when I was like 6 to 8 years old, before I came to the United States, I used to be in a dance group. So it was some of my sisters and friends. We used to have a dance group and we used to dance in like festivals, and I remember vividly this one day because it was one time when there was a performance and I danced and we danced. And so then there was this clown who happened to be the announcer, the host or whatever. And this clown was going around the different girls. He was asking their name. And I remember that day because I was in the middle front of everyone and there was a lot of people. And then he's like, he asked me something, but at that moment I was so nervous. Like the fact that he was going up to me to ask me a question, I freaked out. He was like,
"What is your name?"
But he said it in Spanish.
¿Cómo te llamas?
But I said some dumb stuff. I think I said like yes or something, or I said something random. So then he said,
"Oh, your name is like banana or something."
So then after that, people started laughing. It was one of those like embarrassing moments. And I was like 6 years old. And I remember ever since I hated clowns.
What a nice boat. Do you want it back? You look like a nice boy. I bet you have a lot of friends. Where is he? I bet I could cheer him up. I'll give him a balloon.
Right? Okay. The point of this story is because ever since that time that I got embarrassed by a clown at a festival, it freaked me out to be in front of other people. So then moving forward, I came to the United States and I remember taking English class and we used to present. So I used to get really nervous because first I didn't really understand the language like that and I sucked at it because of course I was learning. And I had a really heavy accent. And you know how when you're in high school, like people bully you and they start making fun of your accent and shit? It's like I was that child that I was always so scared like to present and my hands were sweaty and I always wanted to puke because I was so nauseous and I used to be so freaked out, dude, like bad, like anxiety, right? With that, I always had this thing where because I didn't know who I was always so anxious when people asked me, "Who are you? And what do you do for a living?" Like I used to freak out so much because in my mind, that question reminded me of the time when I was 6 years old at a festival and the clown asked me, "What's your name?" So when someone asks you, "Who are you?" what do you say?
Hola familia de Patreon. Good morning. Buenos días. Damas y caballeros, campeones y campeones. La novedad del día es de que tengo 400 suscriptores. 400. Okay. La meta del mes pasado era que para mayo, o sea, mi cumpleaños.
It is always very important to establish your foundation. So who I am is more than what I show. And I know that for a fact because you guys see this part of me because I'm expressing myself. But then there's times like that I don't want to give too much of myself to certain people, that what you guys get on this side, they don't get. For many years of my life up until now, I didn't really establish who I was. I was lost. And I think a lot of people go through that because like we go through life just listening to random people, and just because it's them and they went through that stuff and they seem successful or they seem like they know they got their shit together, just because they went through that, you listen to them, right? And so what we forget sometimes is to make our own judgment about things. And I fallen into that category where the foundation was never built. And I think of foundation like a building. You know, it's like you have the base of the house, of the building. You need to have a strong base or else the building collapses. Or like a table, you need to have, like a table has 4 table legs. So you need to have those sturdy table legs, good legs, because or else the table is going to be unbalanced. And it's the same thing with MMA. Like when we have both of our feet and then we properly align them together, or we have the good stance, we have the balance. And then when we have the balance, we have a good foundation. And once we have the balance, then that's what we do, like the proper punches and the proper techniques. That's building a strong foundation. So it's the same thing with me. Remembering my foundation and what is it that makes me me, what I stand for. And I don't get like discouraged, or I don't freak out like that when people ask me what I do, who am I, or stuff like that. Like I don't freak out anymore, because at the end of the day, I've taken enough repetitions for me to be like, you know what, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is who I am, this is what I do, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's taking some time, but I think it's always important to establish, who are you? And if you don't have the answer yet, then that's okay. I didn't either, but I'm putting in the work to get there. And thankfully, I'm at that point that I'm like, okay, I like this, I like who I am, you know? To the point that I'm loving myself in the process.